So welcome back YouTube. Like I said to you in the previous video, I'm going to show you the products that I used and I'm going to explain to you for what they were used for. So what the ceiling, this is what I use. I always use MF paint. I don't use any other paint but MF. I'm comfortable with MF and I've been using it for many years. So this is what I use for the ceiling. It's called MF latex acrylic and it's autoculant, meaning that it's like a primer, and it's a Pro line, and it says here Fini mat à plafond, which means ceiling paint in French, because I dirtied it on that side. It says here ceiling flat white. Okay, and when I finish to use it, I write it down on top. So I write down clean paint, and this is what I use for the ceiling paint. Now what I use for the walls is I use this one here. Now if you notice, the name changes. This is Portico. In my opinion, it's one of the best paints I've ever used. This here, it's, of course, it says here 100% acrylic. Very important. The reason why I like using this Portico paint, it's I've been using it for years, and when it goes on, you don't need so many coats. Sometimes with one coat it hides. And another thing I like about it, it's very washable, this one here. So this is what I use for all the walls that in the room there. This is what I used. So this is what I recommend you use for the walls. I mean, if you want to go for something less quality, then you could go with the Pro line in this one here. But of course it has to be where it says satin finish right here. That's what you got to use in this here if you want to go one step lower. But I like to use this. So let's say, for example, you want to use this for your home. This is an excellent choice to do the walls. If you want to go do, let's say, on a job site that your customers don't want to pay too much, then I would go with the Pro line. It's still very good, but it's still 100% acrylic. Don't kid yourself, but it's not 100% like this one, but it's very good paint too. So this is what I used for the door frames, and also the ceiling in the kitchen that I explained to you, because of the ceiling that were dirty of oil and grease. This is the product that we used at the end. So before we put this product on, this is what I was talking to you about. This is from MF. It's Block Plus it's stain block primer, and I tell you something, it's a very good paint. This, and also I applied this on melamine wood, and then I did 2 coats of finish, and up to now it's very resistant. So I would recommend, if you want to do anything in melamine, or you want something very resistant in cabinets, in let's say walls that you think that there's stains or mold, I would wash with TSP. Remember, you don't put, if you go in a kitchen, don't put directly the paint. You gotta wash with TSP when you see that there's a grease. Okay, you wash with TSP, and then you put this paint here. Then once you put this paint here, then you can finish it with whatever you want. You could go with melamine, or you could go with satin, or you could go with flat, depending your choice. There's some people that they put flat on the walls, but because they don't want to see the shine, but it doesn't. In my opinion, you need something better than that. Okay, and then another product that I use is again from MF. Like I said, I only use MF. I don't use any other paint but MF. And this one here, it's like you could see, it's Alka Primer Sealer White. This is oil paint. And of course you can't leave this because look at the color comes yellow. See, this is, well, let's show you the roller. See the difference? So you can't leave it with the oil primer. You gotta put your finish. So that's the paint, okay? Now the paintbrush that I like to use is I like to use this paintbrush here, and this is 1.5 inch. I know some people say, yeah, but you're not covering too much 1.5 inch. But you know, I feel that 1.5 inch, you don't have to, you could control it better. That's my opinion, okay? That's what I use. And I just want to show you this. You see the way it's on an angle? See, it goes on an angle. For me, that's very important because when you paint, you know, you could cut nicely on an angle. Some of them are straight. I don't like straight paintbrushes. I like paintbrushes that are on an angle. So this is what I use, and of course, this is for latex. There's different paintbrushes for oil. So I would recommend you call your paint store and you ask them what kind of paintbrush is for oil. But me, I like to use this one here. Let's do it this way. This is what I like to use. Now remember I was talking to you about sanding. So when I speak about the grids, let's say the 180. So if you go to my previous videos, you will see that the 180 grid has very small grids, it's very smooth. When you go with the 150, it's less smooth. When you go to the 120, it's less smooth. And then you have 180. So the lower the number, the more rough it's gonna be. So this is my 180 grid sandpaper. This is my 150 grid sandpaper. And this is my 120 grid sandpaper. So now let's turn it over. Turn this over and turn this over. Now the 180, I cut it, but you could get a 180 like this to put in your sanding block. Okay, now when I touch this, it's nice and smooth. When you touch this one here, it's a little bit more rough. When you touch this one, you see my finger, it's hard for it to, see this one here, it's more. This one here, it's nice and smooth. So that's a sandpaper that I use. Now the roller, this is the roller that I like to use. You don't, because sometimes you'll buy a roller and then when you paint, it leaves all hair on the walls or on the doors. So this, from my previous experience, this roller is, like it says here, lint-free. It doesn't leave anything on the wall. And I use a 13. 13, I use it for walls and ceiling.